Hi, my name is Anja and I'm an HR director at King. King supports the It Gets Better campaign because we strongly believe in the diversity and equality of people, and we want to let everyone know who is having a hard time right now, it gets better. So listen to our individual stories and just know that it will get better.
Growing up was tough. I was the only gay kid in quite a small village.
When I was young in Japan, gay or lesbian, basically such thing is not officially existed. I had no choice but to hide and pretend.
You spend your whole time being embarrassed about the person that you want to be.
Yeah, I knew I was different in school. It made me feel bad. I felt very bad. I felt very worthless. I was bullied a lot.
Between classes, people would sort of come up to me and be like, "You're gay." It was really horrible. It makes you feel that you've been sort of found out and that your difference has been laid out for all to see.
I felt as if it was my fault that, you know, I felt as if I could control how I acted so that I could fit in. But it didn't work. I couldn't. So I tormented myself. I even harmed myself.
I think the worst moment for me was coming out of a bar once, and I was suddenly surrounded by about 5 guys, and one of them said, "Are you gay?" And I said yes. And the next thing I remember was waking up on the floor with blood on my face. The worst bit about that was not being hurt, was not being punched, although it did hurt. The worst thing about that was being too scared and too embarrassed to tell my parents, because I was ashamed.
For a lot of my life, I was kind of my own worst enemy. The hardest person to come out to was myself, because there was this really big denial inside of me about who I was and who I am, and it took me a long time to realize that I love me.
There was a turning point for me, and it came when I was 18 years old. One evening I just remember suddenly just a switch flicked in my mind, and I said, you know, maybe I am gay.
I said to my ex-girlfriend, "I'm very sorry, but it's finished. I have to understand who I am, alone, not with her."
And actually it was really quite thrilling, because it was like a leap into the unknown. I wasn't sure whether or not that unknown was a good thing or a bad thing. All I knew is that it would be me being true to myself.
I come from an area in Scotland, in Glasgow, which is quite working class, and to be different is not something that people normally come out and do. So I was 19 years of age. I decided to come out to and tell one of my best and closest friends from school. I trusted him and he responded very positively.
I didn't necessarily decide to come out. I was outed. It was really interesting. Instead of the reactions that I thought was going to happen, which was going to be people wouldn't talk to me anymore, actually the friends I did have became closer to me. You suddenly realise you're not alone. You suddenly realise that your friends will always be your friends, and that your friends love you for whoever you are.
Hard one was, though, when I came out to my parents, and I was so scared. And I told them that the roommate girl I've been living with for a while, she's actually my girlfriend.
So I came out to my dad, and the moments leading up to that admission were absolutely horrible, and I was shaking and sweating.
And I was so scared, you know, what they would say. They might be sad, they might be crying, and so on.
Poured him a gin and tonic and said, "Dad, there's something I need to tell you." And the first thing that he said was, "It doesn't matter who you love, as long as you love."
My chest became so light, a long time lie that I've been telling to my parents I don't need to do this anymore. They said, "We're very happy for you."
As soon as I started to tell people after I told my parents, regardless of what their reactions were, I felt, even more confident, and I felt quite empowered that I was able to be myself.
What I would say to somebody right now who's having a hard time is be patient. Being around people who accepted me, life felt amazing.
It gets better and you get to fall in love with people, and that is just the best thing.
I met a man in Paris during my first gay night. I was very lucky because I never met someone so kind, so beautiful. It gets better.
I'll get married next summer, and that for me was a concept that when I was 19, if I look back now, I would have never have imagined. Don't worry, because it gets better.
I think the thing I'd always say to my younger self is don't be afraid to stand out. All the things that you're hiding at the moment that make you unique, that you're ashamed of, are actually the things that people, when you're older, are going to most value.
As long as you're being yourself, it gets better.
It gets better.
It gets much, much better.
It gets amazing. So please give life a chance to show how awesome it can be.